Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. And today we're here to talk about The Substance, the 2024 movie by Coralie Fargeat.
Well done, good pronunciation.
That,
I wasn't even going to attempt it. I saw Born in
that felt
France.
like such a flex.
Yeah, I was like, no, and is going to be the one to pronounce that one. I'm not even going to attempt it. So
Yeah, she's got like a last name very similar to mine, actually,
I,
just
I
one
saw, I saw,
letter difference. Well, not related though, unfortunately.
you
Uh,
know, but yeah, that's one of the topics of conversation I'll get into a little bit later because it was filmed in France, your home
was it
country.
filmed in France, actually?
Apparently, yeah, I've had a bit of a look. It was apparently
Right.
filmed in France, and so there's the scenes where the the ladies are in their home and they're looking over the LA landscape.
Yeah.
It was all digitally imposed.
No way. Well, that's so
Yeah,
interesting because I've been to LA. When I finished my studies, I stayed there for like a month or so. And when you really go through LA, it has a different feel than what you're seeing in a lot of movies, which I think they're only showing the very nice part of LA.
yeah.
And here it's showing a bit more of the normal part, like not the rundown part, but the normal parts. And I felt it was so real. I was so convinced it was shot in LA.
There you go. All
Interesting.
right.
Alrighty.
Well, all right.
Where should we
Should
start?
we? I'll start on her direction because obviously,
Yes,
it's she's been nominated for Best Director. And having watched it, I can see why. I thought it was brilliant.
it's very, very good. I There is so many things that I loved in the way that it's directed. I love the color, the use of
Yep.
shapes, and how it's single colors but putting next to a contrasting one,
Okay.
and always with the squares and the rectangles and the wide with her yellow coat and how it pops.
Yep.
It's very reminiscent of not even the 90s, but the 70s. It has a
Yep.
very Kubrick
Yes.
feel to it.
That's one of the things that I put down because it pays homage to The Shining. So obviously, when she's there in that they go in the corridor at work. It's the depth of field shot where it's like the long corridor. And it's like that's the Shining corridor,
That's The
and it's
Shining. You're just like
yeah.
waiting for the kid on his little tricycle just to like pop by.
Oh, come play with us.
Red room. Uh,
I really liked how she used the depth of field. So I
mm,
don't know if you're aware, like the depth of field shot where you see so much in one shot.
yeah,
Um, just for example, when Dennis Quaid is with all the investors, they're all in the shot and you can see the background behind them. It's so well done. I don't think it was overused either. I think it was done really well. I've
yeah.
seen movies where it's overused a little bit. A Haunting in Venice that
Mm.
overuses that depth of field shot a little bit, but no, it did really well here.
It's a very good movie. I To touch on that, what I really like about this movie is the visual storytelling. There is not much dialogue. Everything is communicated either through the expressions of the actors or the shot of what they do, even the principle of the substance and what it does. It's just communicated with these big inscriptions on the syringe or on the like packages or whatever, and you understand straight away. There is so much, no exposition, but you understand everything single thing that is happening, and the sound editing as well, all the muffled sound, high pitched, the squelching sounds.
Yeah,
It's just so engrossing. I
yeah,
loved it.
yeah. It's almost like when you've got water in your ears and it's a muffled sound. So you had a lot of that where it's kind of it's almost like that. I noticed that a lot of that as well. I really liked how erratic the camera became later on as well, especially once Lizzie became the old woman, how erratic her behavior was. So the camera became erratic as well. It's shaking all around because she's in in a sense of that's just the way she
Oh,
is as well.
she's sinking into madness.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, she's so vain. I mean, they're all vain. It's you can argue it's the same person, but yeah, consumed by their vanity to the point that it brings them into madness and really feel sorry, a bit sad for her, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right. Should we go into the acting? Um,
Let's do that.
so obviously this is we haven't really seen much of Demi Moore in the last decade or so. This is really her big first really big role that she's done in quite a while. My
Yeah.
goodness, what a role!
I'm so glad that she did it. She's a good actress, but
Yeah,
since I don't know, maybe the 90s, she's not necessarily synonymous of good movie. I mean, she has done a lot of crap. And her acting is not an issue usually. But yeah, picking good movies, I think that's been an issue for quite a while. And this one, such a comeback. And
yeah,
she's so good in it.
yeah. It wasn't really until Sue had taken advantage of the substance the first time where she starts to lose herself. Her finger goes to form. Then a little bit
Mm.
later on, that's when she starts to, as you said, kind of go into that madness. That's when it's like, whoa, this lady can act.
She can act, and there is a few scenes even at the beginning when she's at um, lunch or dinner with the very gross producer, and she's just looking at him like a bit grossed out but not saying much. You can see the expression in her face of there is some anger and hate that is building, but she's putting on a front. um, when she's, spoiler alert, like terminating uh, Sue, and she wants to bring her back to life, you can feel the emotion as well. And even
Yeah,
throughout all the visual effect and makeup at the end when she's quite deformed, she can shine through a lot of emotion and expression at there. Very good. I'm
yeah.
rooting for her for the Academy Award.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any other movies yet, so this
Yeah,
is the
me
only one.
neither. So I can't judge too fast, but yeah.
Um, all right, let's go into the hair and makeup because that's been nominated
Mm,
for an Oscar as well. Uh, wow, that was just, especially the monster at the end, that was just had almost a John Merrick kind of feel to it.
yeah, it's
Um,
fantastic. It
and it's, and it was
Yeah,
all practical. It's all practical. Like
it's all
they,
practical. Exactly.
the Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore had to sit in like hours of makeup just to get it done, and just uh, yeah, another rightly nominated. Uh,
Yeah, I'm so glad that it did that. They didn't overuse CGI. It feels so real and visceral. And as far as body horror movie, you know, go, it's fantastic. It's David Cronenberg level of squelching and the use of like body and all the yeah. It,
almost had a carry when the blood's going everywhere, a bit of a carry like feel to it.
yeah, it ends up on a bit silly, a bit absurd sort of things that as it grows into the movie, as the tension or the story evolves up to the end, which is a little silly and grotesque, but it works so well
Yeah.
as well.
Well, it wasn't ever going to end. It wasn't going to end well. So it
No,
wasn't going to, was never going to have a positive ending. So I
yeah.
suppose that's a way it had to end. Um, all right. Is there anything else you'd like to bring to the table?
Yeah, I think obviously, I think there is, I don't think there is two ways. That's not the right way to put it, but you can watch this movie and think that this is a body horror movie, a bit silly, but you can also read a lot more into it. There is some commentary, there is some satire in it. What did you think of it? Did you think it was well done? Did you think it was a bit too much on the nose?
No, I think it was very subtly done. Like, yeah, you're right. The commentary on um, aging gracefully. Time is a fickle beast. We're all going to get older one day. So it's just it had a very I don't know that be grateful for what you've got kind of a story behind it and message behind it.
Yeah, it's I liked it. It's yeah, it's about beauty and beauty that fades and ageism, and especially against women, and how it's not the same for men when
Definitely.
both Elizabeth now getting too old and Sue being the new young, pretty shiny thing, but the producer is still the same, and he's an old guy and he overeats and he's disgusting, but still he's got his job. All this like shareholders are white guys aging as well. There's like little touches like that I think made it quite a good commentary. I can't tell
Yeah.
too much on that being myself male, but I'm glad
Same.
that it's been written and directed by a woman, and I think
Yeah,
it does resonate.
I think you couldn't have a movie like this with this kind of message behind it if it was written or directed by a man. I think it needed that woman's touch behind it to have,
Definitely, and especially with some of the shots that they are doing, there is quite a bit of nudity in the
yeah,
film, but it never feels um, gratuitous or just to go towards the male gaze. It always feels like there is a reason when Sue is coming out, she's discovering her body, she's naked in the shower. There is something in it. The only thing that feels a bit like over sexualized is the new show, Pump It Up. But I think that goes with the satire of saying, look, you had Elizabeth Sparkle that was doing this 90s aerobic show, and it was not like sexualized, but the new generation is really trying to make it as sexual as possible while staying PG to be aired.
yeah,
But yeah, you just want some ratings through sexualization and putting that in the faces of people. So I think that was on purpose.
yeah,
But
yeah.
couldn't have been directed by a man. I don't think so.
No, yeah, it wouldn't have had that same. I don't think it would have been as popular and as cinematic if it was made by men. I don't think it
Yeah,
would have. We'd be sitting here talking the way we are if it was about a man or directed by a man.
yeah, cool.
Okay.
Um, should we go into votes?
I think we should. I'm going to let you go first because I'm tossing up between two scores.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Really, really love the movie. What I really love is that it's a movie that took risks. It didn't play it safe, and it paid off in a big way. But what it does is that I am not gonna forget this movie anytime soon. It tried to be its own thing. It tried to be original and just not go by any convention. And I love movies like this. And we talked about the acting, we talked about the effect, we talked about the direction. Everything is really on point to make this movie brilliant. So 4.5 out of 5. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to be yeah, 4.5 out of 5 from me as well. I think it's going to stand the test of time. Whether it gets the recognition in a few weeks, we will see. But yeah, it's just I'm not a big horror fan myself, but I I really liked this. I thought it was a really good film. Uh, and the more we're talking about it now, the deeper the messages I've kind of taken from just this conversation. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, 4.5.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, that concludes our podcast. Thank you for listening. Please follow and share, and we'll see you next time. Next time.
Would, would enjoy wherever you're listening from the world.